16 years old in South Dakota.
There we go. Shouts to Jackson. Appreciate you hitting us from the Badlands or somewhere near there. Why do you have this is for Parrish though?
Okay.
Why do you have Duke ranked so low with your reason? I think this dates back to an episode a few weeks ago. Why do you have Duke ranked so low with your reasons being they're too young when 3 out of 5 starters will be players with college experience? Parrish, where do you have Duke ranked right now as a refresher for our audience?
I have Duke 9th in the top 25 and 1. Completely fair question from Jackson. Trust me, other people have asked it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, like Duke is plus 1,200 to win the national championship. It's the 3rd best odds in the country behind only UConn and Kansas. UConn and Kansas have better odds. Duke has the 3rd best odds. That's according to FanDuel, but I do have Duke 9th in the top 25 and 1. Yeah, technically true that 3 of the 5 starters could be people with college experience. But one of those, and I'm not sure the projected starting lineup Jackson's throwing out, but I would assume it includes Caleb Foster, who, he was a part-time starter last year and then, had his season cut short. I like him, though. I think he's going to be really good. Mm-hmm. Another one of the starters, I guess would be Mason Gillis. And, he's experienced, but he started exactly 0 games at Purdue last season. He has started at Purdue before, but he started 0 games at Purdue last season. So there's some experience there, but Caleb Foster is going to be asked to have a different role than he's ever had. Mason Gillis is going to have a much different role than he had at Purdue last season. And I think this is the biggest thing. Their presumed best player is 17 years old. Now he's going to be amazing, I assume. Mm-hmm. But Cooper Flag doesn't turn 18 till December. He's going to play, the first month of his season as a 17-year-old, and his entire college career as as he'll be 18 at the Final Four. And it doesn't mean that he won't be amazing, but it's a little bit like in the NBA, like when Anthony Edwards is balling out in the playoffs. It's like, yeah, but 22-year-olds just don't lead teams to NBA titles. That's not the way this stuff works, almost ever. And 17, 18-year-olds have not been leading college basketball teams to great stuff consistently lately. I guess that's my hesitation, but let me be clear on this. I admit up front I might be low on Duke. I'm very aware of, if I could just snap my fingers and adjust for no reason, I guess I could. I'm in charge of it. I might move them up just because I'd prefer to be a little more in line with the betting markets. And, they probably do have more future NBA players than anybody else. When they might have 3 lottery picks. I think probably 2 at least, maybe 4 top 20 picks or top 30 picks. So they're incredibly talented. I am not skeptical. I mean, I have them top 10 in the country. I'm your best player being 17 years old is not ideal. We might look up in December and go, but he's just the best, so it doesn't matter. But that's awfully young to be trying to lead a basketball team in this era of college basketball.
Yeah, Duke has the #1 class. Obviously, it has 5 players in the top 20 at 247 Sports. But we'll see if they can get that done. I haven't thought about exactly where I'll put Duke. It's going to be in my top 10 for sure once we do the big preseason reveal in October. I wouldn't expect that I'm going to have Duke 1, 2, or 3. However, that being said, quick trivia time here. Where was Duke the past 2 preseasons in the AP top 25? So for Shire's first year, where do you think it was?
I think they've probably been higher both.
They were 7th in going into his first year. They finished 18th at Ken Pom in year 1 under Shire. And then last season they were 2nd.
Yeah.
Heading into the season, they finished 7th at Ken Pom there. Both obviously quality seasons. There will be a lot of pressure on Shire, without a doubt, but the data and points GP just made need to, no doubt be referencing and talking about it a lot this season, because Duke is going to be super fascinating, and Flag has the capacity to be the relatively rare freshman that comes in and is just absurdly dominant. If he continues to look like the player that we saw on the recruiting trail the past couple of years, real deal, 2-way player, excited to see it. But I got no issue with you putting them where they are. Duke anywhere in the top 10, I think is reasonable, rational. On that note, you mentioned Torvik. Curious, where does Torvik have Duke right now?
2nd.
Got him second. Okay. Wow. And that's a little bit trickier for the computer stuff because Palm does this as well. You're trying to assign certain values to certain highly regarded recruits based on history and how teams have performed there. So there's a little bit of dart throwing with that as well. And
he also said, I think he tweeted, there is a model he has that does spit out Duke at number one. They're immensely talented. Yep. But their best player is 17 years old. And like other teams' best players that they're competing with for a national championship are going to be 22, 23. Again, this is one of those deals where we might look up in December and it's like, who cares that he's 17? Like, this is what LeBron James would have looked like as a 17-year-old in college basketball. I got it. All right. I know. I'm just saying, I'm not ruling that out. I'm just like, he is 17 years old, and it's a big jump.